I'm going to make an announcement to the back.
Okay, good idea.
We're good. We're good. They're just doing a little cleanup. A few people. So I'll just say to you all, thank you so much for joining us today. And I think, Ryan, are we streaming live? Yes. To the world, everyone, to the world. And we are going to kick off our 2023 annual congregational meeting with Reverend Inga Tarantola. Oh, Serenade? Oh, okay. No, we are not. We are going to kick off our annual meeting with our board president, Serenade.
There's a chair here if you'd like to sit. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to all of you here with us in the sanctuary and those of you joining us online. Thank you for joining us today for our 2022 annual meeting. We're going to review some of the events of last year, all the wonderful things that were accomplished, and also some of our challenges. But first, we're going to begin the meeting by asking Reverend Inga Tarantola to come up and start us off with prayer.
So let's all take a deep breath as we join hearts and minds in prayer to start off this session of our wonderful spiritual community. This is the season of Lent and a season of preparation for Easter. And the fact that you are here shows that you are participating in so many ways. For we are on holy ground. We were called and we showed up. Spirit is expressing in us, as us, and through us as we do the sacred work of today's meeting for the good of this community and beyond. We are so grateful for this opportunity to be of service to this community and to each and every individual so that we might all reach our highest potential, of which John spoke of this morning. Together, we can accomplish great things. And for this opportunity, we are grateful. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Inga. I'm now going to introduce our esteemed Board of Trustees and invite each of them to introduce themselves and speak a few words. We're going to begin by bringing up our treasurer, Vicki Hills, who's joining us via Zoom.
that's not Vicki.
Hi, everyone. I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm on Zoom with Reverend Sherry and Reverend Dick. So, but I'm the one that's going to be talking. If I can find my notes here, which for some reason, have disappeared. Of course, when I need them. Here they are. Okay, hello. For those who don't know me, I'm Vicki Hills. My husband, Sonny, and I moved back to Eugene in December of 2016 after 17 years on Maui, and we started attending Unity of the Valley a few months later after being greeted at the door by Ann Westy. And after she greeted us, we felt like we had found our spiritual home. I'm now starting my 6th year on your board of trustees, and I've had the honor of serving as treasurer for the last 4 years. I'm so grateful to be a part of this close, loving community. Thank you. Let's see, I believe John Garrett is next.
Hi, I'm John Garrett. I'm finishing the second of my 3-year terms on the board. It's been a great experience, and according to the Unity bylaws, I am required to step down. I've been told it's not because of my personality. We trust that's true, but anyway, it has been. I've been so grateful for the support of Unity folks, and the first 3 years were a breeze, basically. The second 3 years with the COVID thing became more of a problem. But just the support, and as we struggled with how best to keep our community safe and how best to serve our community, we really appreciated the support that we got. But it was not an easy time for any of us, and it's so great to be back. But again, I'm hoping to continue through some side things, like maybe continuing to do some work with the greeters, etc., as I step down. But so thank you for your support.
John.
Yes.
We cannot thank this gentleman enough for his kind and compassionate service to us in these 6 years. We are so grateful, and I personally did not want to see him leave, but and I don't think any of us did, but we're willing to let him go and take a little break. So on behalf of all of us on leadership, we wanted you to have these flowers as a token of our gratitude. Thank you so much. Ted.
We're going to miss John.
Hi, I'm Ted Taylor. Unfortunately, I've not been term limited out yet, so if you will have me, I'm on the ballot. So I've been here on the board for 3 years. I've been the secretary of the board for maybe 2 years. So I have to stay awake and pay attention to what goes on at the meetings. This morning we had a little reminder when Donovan took a tumble that we all have to kind of hold each other up. And when we fall down, we pick each other up. And we do that in so many different ways, small ways by just smiling at each other, acknowledging each other, and in larger ways too. And in this church, in this organization, there are many ways that we can support each other and help each other out. And it's all part of what I consider a transformative experience of being involved in this community. I feel like I've become a better person through just being as part of this organization, and being part of the leadership here has been very fulfilling, and it has expanded my horizons, and I've learned a lot, and I appreciate that. So, thank you.
Hi, my name's Michael Tickner, and I've been on the board for, gosh, I can't even remember, at least 3 years. Time just flies when you're having fun. Anyway, the first thing I found out when I first came to Unity is that this place really does embody mind and spirit and the universal consciousness. And it's reflected in the board, where we are actually able to sit down and be political and get things done without arguing, and nobody's actually taken their shoe off and pounded it on the table yet since I've been here. And it's just been really a wonderful experience to be here and do that. It's my first political office, so if this is what it's all right, hey, maybe I'll run for president. I don't know. Anyway, thank you again, and it's nice to be here.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you, every one of you. My name is Alice Sparks, and I'm so grateful to be a part of the Board of Trustees. It has meant the world to me to understand more about what everybody puts into the church and understanding the love that is generated throughout. And you don't even think about a Board of Trustees expressing and having the love. You just don't think about that in the corporate world or so forth. But I know that we have it here, and that is just so meaningful to me. I have had the honor to be on the board for a little over 2 years, and I hope to continue as long as they'll have me or you'll have me. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Well, I guess that leaves me. And you're probably all wondering why she's not going to get up and talk. And they gave me the option of sitting here and doing it. So this is my option. And I've been on the board about, 3 years, the end of my third term, or three years, period, the end of my first term. And I know that John's waiting for me to say I didn't want to continue. And it wasn't that. It's just that I didn't want to, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, with much arm twisting, and, here I am. And I appreciate, I love being on the board, and I love knowing what's going on in Unity, and at least some of it. And so anyway, I appreciate it all. Appreciate you all and love you. And, darn. Geneva Miller. I would like to tell Steve's story, but I'm not going to. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Geneva. Yeah, we did do a little arm twisting, and we're so happy that she agreed to stay with us. So I always forget to put myself on the list, and I just realized that I did. So being that I'm also a board member, I will just say a few words. My name is Serenay Smith, and it is my privilege to be here and my honor to serve at Unity of the Valley. And I am so grateful for our ministerial team, our leadership team, our Board of Trustees, and this magnificent congregation. Thank you all. So now we're going to move over to a little business. And we're going to start with approving the minutes from our 2022 annual meeting. And I'm hoping, I know Gina prepared some handouts for you. And I'm wondering if anyone has any questions or comments about those minutes. And if not, do we have a motion from the congregation to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Steve Smothers made the motion to approve. And do we second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, second it, Julia Taylor. Everyone in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand and vote. Yes, so the minutes are approved. Thank you very much. And we want to thank our incredible secretary and scribe, Ted Taylor, for his careful work on preparing our board minutes every month and the arduous task of putting together the annual meeting minutes. He does such a great job and he brings such joy to it. So thank you, Ted. We also have an amendment to the bylaws that we would like you to consider for approval. The slide, please. I believe we have a slide. Thank you. So basically what we're looking at here is amending our bylaws to say that our members must be present at the meeting in person or electronically via Zoom in order to vote. And this is to protect the integrity of the process. Are there any questions about this amendment or comments? If not, would someone from the congregation please make a motion to approve? I'm sorry, I can't, who is that? Susie Ingalls. Thank you. And a second from the congregation? Betsy. Betsy will second it. Everyone in favor, please raise your hands. Looks like that amendment change has been approved. All right. We want to give a big thank you to our nominating committee, consisting of Barbara McKee, Justice Gross, and John West. And we appreciate everything that they do to support unity in the Board of Trustees. And it looks like we're going to be looking to see if there are anyone else who would like to join that group. Is there anyone here interested in that or watching online? And if so, please contact John or myself, and we would love to have you. Okay. I don't know what you mean. Thank you. This year, the Board of Trustees had one candidate to join the board, and that was Reverend Dick Everett, who I believe is watching online. And then, as mentioned, we had Ted Taylor and Geneva Miller up for re-election, and with some mightily hand and arm twisting, they'd agreed to stay on. So now I want to thank them, and I want to thank you all for voting, and I want to announce the approval of our new Board of Trustee candidate, Reverend Dick Everett, and the reinstatement of Ted Taylor and Geneva Miller for another term. We are so blessed to have Ted and Geneva with us, and we are honored that Reverend Dick is going to join us. So out there in Zoom land, Reverend Dick, we are sending our love to you and thanking you all for this process.
That's a reminder to have our cell phones.
Yeah. Well, it's just a little angelic softening of the energy here. That's how I'll think about it. We're now going to move on with our reports prepared by our Unity leaders. You'll be hearing from many of the heads of the groups of the different ministries today, but be sure to check this wonderful booklet that we've prepared for you, and here you'll find reports also from Julia for Angel Network and also Elizabeth for our bookstore manager. At the end of our reports today, we're going to open up the meeting for comments, suggestions, and questions. And we would ask you all to try to keep your comments rather pithy, maybe 2 minutes or more, because we'd like everyone to have the opportunity to share. And we're going to begin our reports this morning with John West giving us the report from our esteemed ministerial team.
I think Serenade was saying that meant that if you wanted to make comments, keep them to 2 minutes or less, rather than not 2 minutes or more. Just a slight detail there. So you've all received our written reports, and I'm not going to rehash the things that were reported about from the ministerial team's perspective. But so I think what I'm going to focus on is this overarching feeling that I have about what have we accomplished over the past year. And when the president and CEO of Unity headquarters came and spoke here back on about January 14th, this picture is on the cover of our program there, of our reports. He said that if your center or your church survived the pandemic, you've done a great job, and the truth is we more than survived, we thrived. And why was that? Well, it's because of you all being there, whether in body or in body at your home, not here, but sharing financial support to keep us thriving, and just being present so that we knew this community was alive and out there and interacting and connecting with each other in so many ways. And then when we opened the doors, well, you were, some of you we know are still not ready to come back and be in crowds, but you are still in support of this community and part of it. So why is that? Why are so many people so devoted to this community? And for me, I feel like the reason it works for me is because it's not about what's on the surface. It's about what's under the surface here. Because you can go to many organizations and see a wonderful surface, but if you go camping with them, as they say, if you spend a real in-depth time, then you start to see the little things going on, the politics at play, the underlying tensions and stresses. And for me, when you scratch under the surface here, you truly find love. You truly find spirit. And that's been a big part of reflection of who you are. You are what's creating the spirit. And that, to me, is our greatest accomplishment. And I so appreciate that about everyone here. So thank you. And Inga, if you'd like to share anything more about from the ministerial team's perspective, feel free.
I'm retired. And it is my privilege that I am still welcome here. There are congregations, once you're retired, you are no longer considered part of it, and they just do not see your face for a while. That did not happen here. I was welcomed to stay on, and it is my joy and my privilege to continue in that capacity. And I feel truly privileged and honored. And my kids who live in LA, you are my family. I rely on you to be there for me when I need you. So, thank you for that.
And just one last comment is that Reverend Sherry was not able to be here. She is just finishing up a trip she took down to sunny California. So we feel so sorry for her that she's had to experience that. And we just include her in this circle of spirit. She is such a foundational part of who we are. I think she is our longest serving member here since the mid-'80s, and she is such a blessing. And so thank you, Sherry, for all that you bring to this community.
Thank you, John and ministerial team. Truly, we are blessed with these 3 shining stars, and I know that we are all so grateful for them. So this morning, this afternoon, wherever we are in time and space, I'm going to be sharing with you the report from the Board of Trustees for 2022. So let's begin by taking a deep, deep breath and look at where we are today. Many of us are back here in our cherished sanctuary, together for the first time in 3 years for our annual meeting. And I would say yay to that. We're back. And that pretty much sums up our look back on 2022. It was the year that, after careful planning and consideration, we flung open the doors to unity and invited our congregation back to regular services and other activities. Who could have imagined 3 years ago that our humble spiritual community would face the challenges of a worldwide pandemic that would bring us to a screeching halt and carry with it such deep, complex challenges? But here we are today, stronger than ever, moving forward with sustained by our positive attitude of gratitude and faith. I just have to say, once again, how grateful I am for this spiritual community, for your resilience, your compassion, and for your continuing support through these trying times. Speaking for myself and all of us in leadership, I can't imagine making this journey without each and every one of you walking beside us in faith and love. So here are some of the highlights from 2022. The Board of Trustees wore themselves out last year with questions like, when could we reopen Unity safely? Are we risking an outbreak in our community if we drop our vaccination policies? In what order should we begin inviting groups back and classes without overwhelming our staff and volunteers? So in the fall, we dedicated to bring some of these questions to the congregation. And we sent out a survey inquiring about all of your opinions concerning your comfort level in returning to Unity if we dropped our COVID policies. We knew that we could count on you. And sure enough, the survey came back split, 50-50. Half of you wanted us to lift all of our COVID policies, and the other half wanted us to firmly hold the line. So thank you very much. So back to the drawing board we went to ask many questions and contemplate what we should do. And then we finally voted in the fall to drop our COVID policies, our vaccination and masking, and flung open the doors to everyone on November 13th of 2022. It was a joyful day for everyone, though you may not have noticed that I, for one, was holding my breath and speaking silent prayers. I'll always remember the plaintive look on some of our board members' faces as we endlessly rolled over these and other questions regarding the safety of our spiritual family and the well-being of our ministry. Patience is indeed a virtue, especially when you're dealing with the unpredictable. My thanks to each and every one of these board members for your heartfelt dedication and diligence in handling the many twists and turns of the COVID pandemic. And to our faithful greeters, led by our retiring Vice President John Garrett, a special thank you for the thankless task of carefully screening everyone at the front door for proof of vaccination. You all were so compassionate and so brave. Last year, our board took a good look at our emergency plan for Unity of the Valley. We reviewed the procedures we would need to follow in case of fire, natural or man-made desires that would necessitate us evacuating our buildings. Other board members, working with Gary Wymore, our facilities manager, and Gina Duell, our administrator, looked at our evacuation plans along with our basic emergency equipment, such as our fire extinguishers. We made sure our exits were clearly marked and that we had first aid stations around the facility. Additionally, some of our board members, along with the shared leadership team, did a short review of the CPR procedures and took a good look at our automated external defibrillator to make sure it was in good shape in case of a cardiac event. And by the way, our defibrillator is kept above the small refrigerator in the fellowship hall. There is also an EpiPen there for allergic reactions. We have more to do on this important subject, which we'll come back to later this year. While on the safety theme, the board approved the funding to upgrade security here at Unity by replacing our front and back doors, setting up cameras and outside lights. You'll hear more about that coming up. The Board of Trustees is always happy to consider improving expenditures for our youth and family program, which is thriving under the leadership of Alice Sparks, Doris Hicks, and Jim Drew. Check out our new karaoke machine. The Board of Trustees continued to promote our Spiritual Community Support Fund that we set up during the pandemic for financial assistance for those in need. Sadly, almost a year ago today, when the devastation of war brought extreme hardship to the people of Ukraine, the Board of Trustees looked into ways that we could send comfort and support. We found a religious-based organization that provided direct relief in the way of food, shelter, and medical care for those who were suffering, and Unity of the Valley made a generous donation to the people of Ukraine. After a lot of number crunching by our numbers queen, better known as Vicki Hills, our treasurer, the board reviewed and passed a budget for 2023 that included a raise for our staff and generous end-of-the-year bonuses for our wonderful volunteers. We were able to do this due to the tremendous generosity of our congregation, and we are all so grateful for your continued support and all that you do for this ministry. Also, due to the careful research of our steadfast treasurer, we made some financial investments which will increase Unity's prosperity in the years to come. So now, as we look forward into 2023, we are filled with excitement and anticipation for the many wonderful opportunities that will unfold. Sure, we know that there will be challenges, but we got this. Last month, as John mentioned, we hosted the workshop here at Unity of the Valley, presented by Reverend Shad, who is the president and CEO of the Worldwide Unity Organization. And one of the first things he said as he walked up on this podium was, "Congratulations, you survived. Any Unity church who survived the COVID pandemic and is still running deserves a big pat on the back." And we do. Unfortunately, many other churches will not be able to reopen or continue, but Unity of the Valley prevailed. We patiently and lovingly and carefully made our way step by step through the worldwide pandemic, which shut down the entire country. And now we're back and ready to persevere and pursue our spiritual goals and service to our community. My heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for making Unity of the Valley the shining star on the hill, which holds the light of love for this, our beautiful city of Eugene. Thank you all. What? We already did the treasurer's report. No, we didn't? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, treasurer's report first. Yeah, that's sure. Let's do the treasurer's report. Okay. I think we're waiting for Ryan to bring up Vicki again.
Are you ready for us, Vicki, to do the treasurer's report? She doesn't know that we keep a camera on at her house 24 hours.
Am I live, Brian? I guess I am. Okay. Hello again, everyone. Another year has flown by. Thank you. We began last year with live services, which lasted 2 weeks. And due to the COVID surge, we closed again for 2.5 months while continuing our online services. We reopened for live services in April for the remainder of the year. Currently, our live Sunday attendance is slowly increasing, averaging close to 80 in person each week. And we have more than 1,000 Facebook followers, which is an incredible growing online presence. Our total regular income in 2022 showed a slight increase over 2021 at $183,000 compared to $181,000 in 2021. However, expenses in 2022 were close to $9,000 higher because we were open most of the year compared to being closed the previous year. Additionally, we didn't have the benefit of the federal Paycheck Protection money in 2022, so our net income was down by $52,000. Even though our income is slowly creeping higher, we're still $52,000 short of revenue that we had in 2017 and $39,000 short of 2018. For many years now, our budget projections have remained the same from year to year. Due to inflation, we needed to increase our budget planning for 2023 by about $20,000. The main reason, as Serenade pointed out, is to provide our hardworking employees with modest but long overdue salary increases to help them meet their expenses. Looking ahead, we are beginning to open our facilities to outside groups and events, which may help somewhat with income to support these increased expenses. We are also asking you to help keep our loving community financially sound by increasing your simple giving plan if possible. Also, now would be a great time to start if you're not in the simple giving program. Please contact Gina, our administrator, for details. Now, this wouldn't be a treasurer's report without more numbers, so here are our 2022 year-end bank balances. We began last year with $87,000 in our everyday checking account, and we ended with $80,000. Our youth and family checking account ended 2022 with $2,716. And our bookstore checking ended with $8,142. Now, this may sound like a lot of money, but it puts it in perspective when you consider that our annual expenses are more than $200,000. You've seen that gorgeous piano on the stage that you're sitting on now. And while we are still making monthly payments on. During the last quarter of 2022, our monthly donations to the piano fund decreased. In November, we began using the Music Ministry Fund to help with the $500 a month piano payment. This fund had a starting balance of $5,700 from the anonymous annual endowment donation we've received over the past 2 years. In January 2023, the remaining balance on our piano was $9,000, and we fully expect to be able to pay off that piano by mid-2024. Our Spiritual Community Support Fund began 2022 with $320. During the year, we received additional donations totaling $3,928, which allowed us to distribute $3,000 requested by those in need. We ended the year with a $1,248 balance in the fund. Our capital expense account ended the year with a $35,000 balance after our Our capital expense account ended the year with a $35,000 balance after our $22,000 in expenditures for building and grounds improvements. The details of those expenses, as well as our future needs, will be shared by others in their reports. Our money market account, which is our rainy day fund, had a balance at the end of the year of $132,000. And this includes our Legacy of Love funds, which started 2022 with $1,200. During the year, we received a generous donation of $10,000 from a congregant's estate, ending with an $11,200 balance. This year, 2023, we are investing most of our money market funds in U.S. Treasury T-bills, which will earn us a much higher interest rate with no risk. The remainder is in a money market investment account that also earns higher interest than the bank can offer. These are safe ways to make our savings work more effectively. Thank you to all our congregants and friends, both near and far, who are vital to keeping our loving community thriving. We appreciate you as we plan for a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki, for that wonderful treasurer's report. And now we will have Reverend Inga. We must have some feedback here.
Go ahead. Ryan, am I on? Handheld? Okay, I'll go to the, okay, here we go. So you have in your packet my prayer ministry report. Rather than read it, I just will highlight briefly a couple of points in the interest of brevity, for which I am known. There are many ways you can avail yourself to the services of our wonderful prayer ministry. So I encourage you to not only look at this report, but also in your bulletin that you received this morning are ways to plug in. It has my contact information. Know that I'm available to you, and so are the prayer teams. What I do want to highlight is that I'm happy to report now that the church is open again, that we are starting classes again. Not only will John be able to do his class, I will be following in the month of April with a prayer class. So I encourage you to look at how you pray. Do you want to make some changes? Do you want to explore it further or deeper? Prayer is the path where there was none. And with that, I will close my report. If you have questions, please come see me afterwards. If you need a prayer shawl, there's a big supply right under there, as you saw this morning.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be able to report about the unit kids. We don't have unit teens going right now. They're going to the YOU group. And I don't see Jim here, so he said if he wasn't able to make it, that I could say a few words for him. And today it looked like he had a really nice sized class, and I was really happy to see that. He usually has 4 or 5 children, or they're high school age, and he does things like the 12 powers and the word of the month, and he's just really devoted to helping these kids move through their high school years. And he also has, the kids are also able to go to his group if they're in the Uniteen age group, since we don't have Uniteens going on right now, so they're invited to go there as well. With unit kids, we have children from the ages of 5 to 11, or kindergarten through 5th grade, and the Had family, I know that you've probably seen the kids around here, and last week the 2 twins, girls, sang up here with the group of singers, and they have a real passion for our church, and so we're just really grateful to have them, and we are building on our unit kids and the youth ministry. This summer, we are planning to have a puppeteers camp, and we'll be inviting members from the community, outside the community, and of course inside, to come and join us for this. And Doris is going to do her whiz stuff that she does with the puppets. She's just amazing. The kids will make puppets and do a puppet show for their families, and so we are hoping to entice more children to come, and for any current members who have children to bring them also. Today we had a girl that hadn't been here since last Easter, and it was such a delight to see her, and she was so much a part of the program. So if you have grandchildren, nieces, nephews, children, we would love to have them with us. So thank you so much, and I love you all.
Thank you so much, Alice. And Sunny's here.
I'm going to report on the shared leadership team. We are made up of representatives from the ministerial team, the Board of Trustees, staff members, and volunteers. We meet weekly Wednesday mornings on Zoom to deal with the day-to-day needs of our community. We open each meeting with a centering prayer and a personal check-in with each other, which helps us be in loving harmony as we deal with the agenda of the meeting. We have lively discussions and usually come to consensus on what needs to be done and who is going to do it. Each meeting is then closed with prayer. Our weekly connection and vision for shared leadership at Unity has been especially valuable as we've worked through these difficult years. Currently serving on the shared leadership team are Laura Dubois, Gina Duell, Reverend Sherry Lady, Geneva Miller, Sunny Schneider, Serenay Smith, Reverend Inga Tarantola, John West, and Gary Wymore. As the COVID pandemic persisted, the team spent a great deal of focus and prayer at our meetings on how to keep everything running as smoothly as possible and securing the man and woman power needed to hold in-person services, as well as that Christmas Eve service, which takes a lot of volunteers. We did make the difficult decision, once again, not to hold our Thanksgiving potluck due to the pandemic. but we did put together almost 35 meals for pickup and delivery. We give thanks to each and every one of you for your support and your efforts to support each other and our Unity community. We're truly blessed. Thank you.
Hello. Guess I'll take my mask off. I'm Gina, your administrator, and I typed this up because I haven't been here in a long time, and I will get a little emotional and mushy. It's been a really trying few years with the COVID pandemic. We've made it through with a large dose of hard work and a great deal of love and commitment from you, our congregation. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to get a little more mushy here. I want to thank our amazing Board of Trustees. Your commitment and your hard work through this pandemic and the challenges we've experienced, you are an incredible group. And I can't imagine us having walked through this with anyone else. You're incredible. Thank you. Thank you. And John Garrett, I am going to miss you as Board VP. Your steadfastness and your commitment to walking through these times with a strong but soft and gentle heart, I really, really appreciate what you have done. So you're not leaving Unity, you're just going to do something different. Our ministerial team, you amaze me with what the three of you accomplish, not only administratively, but through your wisdom and the different areas that each one of you handle. And I'm including you too, Miss Sherry. I hope you're listening. You are a powerful team, and we are blessed with your shared wisdom, your leadership, and your heart. So thank you. Our shared leadership team, we have been working and growing and loving together for so long now, it would be really easy to take it for granted, but I want you to know I don't. We are a unique and powerful leadership model. We all bring different opinions, different views, ideas, and skills to the table, but we truly are one heart. It amazes me what we get accomplished each week, and I thank you for the deeper connections we make and for all each one of you do to keep us thriving and keep on inspiring us. A huge thank you to our volunteers who have stepped up even more during COVID. There are so many of you that are working quietly behind the scenes. I want you to know that even though your name may not be mentioned on a Sunday, it does not go unnoticed. And we thank you for volunteering because it does take a village. So I'm going to move out of the mushy side, and I did good, I didn't cry. As we move forward into 2023, we've got a new normal coming, and some of the upcoming and continuing things that we'll be doing is we're going to continue our food drive. And we started this food drive in June of 2022 to help Food for Lane County keep the local pantry stocked. To date, from June of 2022, we have collected 471 pounds of food, which equals approximately 376 meals. Great job, you guys. If that's not love, I don't know what is. Our Love in Action signups are going to be happening Sundays, March 12th and 19th. And this is a time where representatives from each volunteer ministry will be in the fellowship hall after the service, and they'll provide information and help you get signed up. You can check out page 4 of the March Bulletin for some volunteer opportunities. And I can tell you we've got some areas that need a little bit of fluffing up here. We've got several areas that we need coordinators for. So for example, when we put on a special event here, it does take a team behind the scenes to help do that. So I need a coordinator that will help that team find out, call who's available to work. Basically, you would take money at the door, help the speaker, whatever it is. So that's just one of many opportunities. We've got deep cleaning coming up Friday, May 26th from 9 to 2. And we had a lot of areas during the pandemic that weren't in use. So there's some buildup of dust and grime. So just some examples would be like wiping down the baseboards and the ceilings, vacuuming chairs in the sanctuary, washing down the cupboards. I have over 3 pages of deep cleaning things to do. So if you feel inclined to come and help, please come. We have our in-person classes and activities returning to in-person. We have passage meditation every Thursday evening. Unity Theater Group meets on the first and third Thursday. The Elder Council is back, and they're meeting on the fourth Thursday of each month. The Behind the Lens movie series is coming back. They're on Tuesdays. So keep looking at the website and the bulletins and the flyers and all of the ways and help get the word out about these. We're coming back. So thank you, everyone. Unity community, for your love, your service, and your support. You truly are the best. I love you.
You know, the way we clean the ceilings here is we have like 4 or 5 people on each other's shoulders, and it really works well. So.
Now, we're in for some real excitement. It's time for the facilities report. Doesn't that just send chills up your spine? I've been the facilities coordinator so long, I don't even remember when. I know I was much younger. And I have felt a real blessing because it's an area that I'm interested in. And being a kind of a handyman has been my passion in my life. So it's really served me well. And so for this report, I kind of don't want to submit a lot of detail, but I think we should tell you what we did last year. So we kind of have a little stream running under our sanctuary, and the old sump pumps wasn't doing it. So we had our drainage system changed and new sump pumps and piping put in at a cost of about $4,250. Then we put in the new front door for security reasons, so that can be brought. You know, we got concerned about hearing all these things happening at churches where people breaking in and doing bad things. So we wanted to be security minded. So we updated that door to be more security, to be a more secure door. Then we installed a camera doorbell, so Gina could see who was at the door and what they wanted. She can communicate with them. And then we installed 6 motion sensor cameras around the whole building, so that when we weren't here, I guess John's got the duty to see what's going on. And that seemed like an important step. Then a video camera was installed for Ryan for the online streaming and production, a real updated camera, which was about $7,537.
And it's all the cameras around.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so then they're just the routine maintenance things, and they're in the report, so you can read them.
So some of the upcoming projects, we got a drainage issue outside that needs to be done when the weather is better. And all the fluorescents in the fellowship area will have to be replaced with LEDs because the fluorescents aren't made anymore. So that's going to be a couple $1,000s. And they're kind of looking at maybe having to replace the roof on the Fillmore wing in a year or so. Then it says, yeah, Fellowship Hall is shrinking. Shrinkage. And so the floors are cracking up. So we'll just kind of watch it happen. Then we're going to, I tried to start it last year, but I didn't get too far, but we're going to repaint the railings out there so they don't need it or anything. And we have some moss removal to do. Anyway, since kind of getting older, I used to do almost a lot of this work by myself, but I can't do that anymore. So, where is he? Gary Collins is my body. I'm the brains. And he is just a trooper. He'll do anything I say. And he's been such a blessing. He's a blessing to us all. He gives himself away so greatly, so sweetly. Yeah. So to run a facilities like this, it takes a village. And so if you're inclined and have a capacity to do little things like, wiring or plumbing or just handyman stuff, we could certainly use you on the team because there's always something coming up. It's a major undertaking, and we are blessed to have this wonderful, wonderful place to come. We have to keep it up. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Laura Dubois, the music director, and I wrote everything in my report, so I'm going to ask you to please read that. I just want to say 3 things. One is our team is thriving. I think the pandemic brought us together in ways we never could have imagined. We're growing, we have exciting new members, and we're just thrilled to be here with you. The second thing I want to do is I cannot thank him enough. Thank Ryan. I don't think people realize other people from other congregations come up to me and they're like, your tech team is amazing. And I'm like, that's one person. What he does is incredible. Ryan, thank you. And last but not least, something new that's in my report that we're just starting is we are on the 3rd Tuesday of every month at 1:30 doing music at Good Samaritan, which is right across Hilliard down the street. It's a rehab and nursing home. So anybody that's interested in that, please see me, and I'd love to have you join us. It's a lot of fun. Thank you for everything. Love you guys so much.
Wow. Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gary Wymore, Gina Duell. We can't say enough about what Gina does for us behind the scenes. All of you. Just keep clapping. Sunny Schneider, our beautiful Agape Heart in the kitchen. Alice Sparks with the youth, the family ministry. Reverend Inga with our prayer team and the chaplains, Vicki, our incredible treasurer who just keeps going and going, and our ministerial team whose hearts we all know are golden. So thank you all. And for all of our team leaders, there is a bouquet of flowers here for you. Please come up and make sure you get it before you leave today. And that is on behalf of a gift from your congregation that loves you all so much. And please don't forget that there's a couple of more excellent reports in the booklet that was prepared. So we're going to open up the meeting now to comments, questions, and suggestions. And John's got your handy mic there, and we'll do our best to answer them.
I think we have one right here. Hi, my name is Steve Smothers. Good to be here. Thank you all for your service. I had a question for Sarah Smith, maybe. In your Board of Trustees report, I heard something mentioned about Ukraine-related donation, but I did not see it in the report. Is that something that's going to be added, or?
You're right, Steve. I did not add that to the report. And we were on a timeline, so I didn't go back and add it. But I thought it would be important that our congregation understood that our hearts went out to the situation there, and we did consider it as with the Board of Trustees as well as with the leadership, our leadership team. And we came up with an amount, and we had to do a lot of research to find the best place. As you may know, it's pretty difficult sending funds to war-torn situations, but there's a great organization. I personally hope, I didn't talk about it, but in the future we might consider making other donations which will go directly to the people on the ground needing food, shelter, clothing, and medical help. So yes, we did do that, and thank you for asking.
Thank you. And a question for our treasurer, Vicki. Is there a breakdown of income, for example, tithes, rentals, special events?
I think we're going to see if Vicki can come back up. And once again, that is not Vicki. Hey, you know what? But let's get back to your question in a moment. But Reverend Dick, I think we did not really leave a space for Reverend Dick to speak as our new board electee. So since we have him here, I think that's the reason you're here. Would it be Board President Serenay? Would you be okay if I invited Reverend
Absolutely.
Dick? Okay, so Reverend Dick, I don't know if he's hearing me, Ryan. Okay, good. Well, I don't know if you heard the happy news, but the congregation did elect you as our new board member, and so congratulations. And,
good, thank you.
If you would like to share, without gloating too much about your victory, if you would just like to share any thoughts.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is that I'm joining a well-established, well-run organization. I hope you can hear me okay.
We can.
They can.
I was asked a lot of questions when I first was interviewed. And one of those was, what do you see in the future of our church? What's important to you? And what I want to see is not just growth for the sake of growth, so much I want to see our church expand with younger people, as well as the people my age and younger. I want to see the young couples. I want to see more children. We're the ones who have a teaching that only our church can give to our children. And the more we incorporate that youth program into what we're about here, the more I feel we are filling a responsibility that no one else can fulfill. I know we're starting off with a lot of new programs, really, and they may be just a little bit showing at this point. But we have something here that I'm going to call our light. We have a light here in Unity of the Valley, and it's palpable. People want to know about what we are about. They want to know why we act the way we do. They want to know what unity is about. So when I say I belong to a unity church, which is usually the question, what church do you belong to? I said, and by the way, I don't get into an argument about spiritual centers and all that kind of thing. If they want to talk about churches, I can talk church language. But I tell them that we are a church that is open and receptive to all people of all denominations. We're not limited to, quote, something called our way, because our way is your way and everyone else's way, as far as I'm concerned. So I want the church and I want the congregation to be aware of what we as a church have as a vision. Where are we going? This is not just a board thing. It's a mission for the whole congregation to be aware of what is the direction we're going in, and then each person can figure out how they can be a part of that going forward. We have so much to offer, and uniquely, there aren't that many churches around that can offer the same kind of thing that we can. Oh, there's lots of things I can point out in our church that I think we can improve in. But we're just coming off a pandemic, and we're just opening it again. And I'm very excited about the possibilities of what's in store for us. I want to be a part of the movement forward. I don't want to be a part of the if-onlys, or we shoulda. I want to be very much part in the front end of this moving forward business. And I've got lots of good experience, some of which worked just fine, and some didn't work fine, and I won't bring that with me, the part that didn't work. But it is important that, I've got 30 years experience as a minister, and I've served several churches as a senior minister. I know what worked, and I know what didn't work. And I can suggest some different things that might be helpful to our church as we grow together. Probably the best thing I have to offer is that, one, I plan to be available, but I listen. I listen to what others have to say. And that is so significant. I'm listening.
Okay.
I do like the team leadership idea, and more than anything else, I am very impressed by how team leadership is working here. It is not easy to put it in place, but once it is in place and people are devoted to that model, it's very powerful. It goes so far beyond top-down leadership. That's where I've been. That was fine, but I'll tell you what, without a lot of people to talk to, without a prayer ministry, without all the volunteers to talk to, I would have been lost. We got a lot of smart people in our congregation, and they all have some kind of a talent, a view, which we all need to hear. Well, I feel like I've talked enough. But let me just say, I'm proud to be a part of this congregation, and I look forward to the new people coming in, and as well as honoring those of us who are already here. Let's move it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Dick. Okay,
Thanks.
so Vicki, we had a question from Steve Smothers about a breakdown of income from various sources. And so if you wanted to, maybe if you could just outline what happened over the past year in that. There's just a short list of income sources, I believe. No, that still isn't Vicki. I'm pretty sure that isn't.
I think people can hear me, since my screen showing, there it is. I was thinking, Steve, you wanted to know the details of how our expenses and income are broken up, and the different things we contributed to. And sorry, I'm in two places now.
He was just asking about income. We don't have to go through all the expenses.
Well, what I was going to say was our treasurer's report used to be posted in the eating area. Sorry, I can't think of what it's called. And we can ask Gina if it's still posted there. And every month we give a more detailed breakdown of things that happened during that month. So I suggest that you look at that, and if you have any more questions, I'd be happy to go through it with you.
Well, if you have it in front of you, from last year, just the general report, I think we had about 98% of all our income was probably just donations, right? Just a lot of them.
Right, and I don't have that in front of me, John. I have what I reported on, but I don't have the total.
I think it's fair to say, Steve, that especially because of the pandemic, we haven't had hardly anything else like rentals or anything like that going on here. So It was all donations, to, mainly Simple Giving, people on the Simple Giving program. Yeah.
Thank you, Vicki.
Right.
Any other questions?
Am I still on?
Yes.
I just wanted to say that there are a few people watching on Facebook, and I do have that on my phone. If anyone there on Facebook has any comments or questions, I'd be happy to report on them. I don't see any so far.
Well, just jump in and let us know if you see any.
Are there any more comments or questions or suggestions from those of us that are here today? Oh, that's right. I think, Alice, you had something you wanted to... come on up. Oh, okay.
Thank you, John. I neglected to recognize Doris Hicks and Diane Bohr for their contribution to Youth Ed. They are amazing. Doris with her puppetry and her generous, kind heart, and Diane with her excellent skills with teaching, and the children just love her and Doris. So I just wanted to recognize them before we don't have anything left to say.
I'll just make a brief comment that summarizes many of our forward looking and forward hoping and forward praying, and that is that all of us in our own unique way encourage people that we know, friends, people in the community, neighbors, to come and visit Unity of the Valley. We are really doing so many things now, both inwardly and outwardly, to try to grow our ministry. So whatever any of you can do to support that, we appreciate it. And it was was also one of the things that Reverend Shad mentioned about how important it is to grow our communities. So wanted to just mention that.
And I think there are some other reports in there that we didn't have verbal reports from, but I'll just acknowledge our incredible Angel Network. Julia, would you rise? And then the bookstore has a report in your written report, and we, starting this year, we have a new bookstore manager, Elizabeth King. So we're so glad and thankful for her. And she follows in the footsteps of Krishnangani Bennett, who had done a wonderful job in the past. So I just saw Krishnangani today, so thank you for your service, and thank you, Elizabeth. You want to make any final? I guess introduce Angel.
All right. Unless we have any more comments or suggestions, I want to thank you all for being here today, both here in the sanctuary and online, and sharing this beautiful experience with us. I'd like to ask Reverend Ingen Tarantola to come up and give us a closing prayer.
Reverend Chair Lady was not able to be with us here in person, and she was scheduled to give the closing prayer. She is such a powerful prayer person and has been my long-time friend, inspires me. So in the spirit of Sherry, what would she have said today? She would have said, thank you, sweet spirit, for this beautiful time of being together, of sharing our love, of collaborating, of ministering to one another, of truly demonstrating the loving spiritual community that we are, for this opportunity to be of service to one another and to the greater community. We are truly grateful, and so it is. Amen. Godspeed.
These lovely flowers.
John, make sure you take one. Inga?